Welcome back. We are in the gun room again today. We have got another night vision setup out for review. This one again, full disclosure, Oneleaf.ai sent this out to us to review. This is one of their Commander NV400 setups. So this is basically their all-in-one setup, where the NV100, if you remember back to that review, and I will link that review in the description, was a standalone monocle style of night vision that you mount to your existing scope. So this one here is a standalone unit. It is all inclusive. So they sent this one out to review. They wanted me to check it out for you guys as well, and I told them that yeah, sure, I would. We'll see what this one's about, see what I like about it, and see what we don't like about it for sure. But presentation is definitely a lot better than their other unit, so it does come in a nice box. Not that that makes, a huge difference, but presentation is a good thing. Here is our instruction manual. We'll take a look at that. Cleaning cloth, and here is the unit itself. So let's take a look here and see what all we've got. So what's this say? Please remove the mount and reinstall it correctly. So I'm assuming they have these installed probably backwards just so they'll fit in the box, I would imagine. But we have an additional battery cap if we want to use one of the larger lithium-ion rechargeables. So that's pretty cool. This unit does come with an auxiliary IR unit. So like the other one reviewed, kind of compared to the NV100, its IR unit was built in. This one has one of the external lights. So I would imagine this one here is probably going to be a little bit better as far as night vision capabilities as compared to the other one, but be interesting to see what that looks like. We've got a external charger. That's pretty nice. I like that. It's pretty cool. A couple of different eyepieces if you want to use those. Here is, this is one of the sunshades. So these come with a couple of different sunshades, so allow you for use during the day. What do we got here? So we got a T-handle, we got a charging cable, a couple of Allen keys, we've got an HDMI cable. That's pretty nice. And then of course the unit itself. So let me try and get this out of the box, and it is definitely got some weight to it. So this unit here is a little bit different in the one that we used before, and like I said, this unit is all inclusive, so all the stuff is actually built in to the scope itself, which is pretty cool. It definitely has its benefits as compared to the other unit, and it does also have some downsides. Now, one of the downsides I can already tell is this thing is heavy. So you would probably be using this at a static position, I would imagine, but definitely nothing wrong with that. But this one also has an external rangefinder, which is pretty cool. So it mounts just to the side of the unit here, and it is a pinned interface, so make sure you keep that clean if you do take this off, because that actually interfaces with the unit itself, the main computer inside here, to give you range finding capabilities. We have our on-off switch here on the side, menu up here. The controls on the top of the scope are much like the other one. You have your ability to record, shoot day and night mode, illumination, so on and so forth. Now you can also charge this battery inside this unit by way of the charging port on the right side of the unit here, which you can see right here. And then you also have a HDMI port, and you also have a master reset button here. I wonder if this one comes with an SD card as well. And let's see if I can, guys, I have no fingernails, so let's see here. And it does have a SD card, a micro SD with it from the factory, so that's pretty nice. Let's see what size it is. 64 gig, so that's pretty nice inclusion there. You don't have to source an additional one of those whenever you want to go shoot. So it does come from the factory. The caps are O-ring sealed, so that's nice. Should have a little bit of moisture and water resistance. Now on top here, we can see, take that off. This is where your lithium ion battery is stored. So get this off here, I will show you guys that. So this, you have the ability, you can either charge it on the unit or you can charge it externally, which is kind of cool with this here. So you don't have to take the optic and flip it over to get this to come out, so on and so forth. So that's pretty nice. But you also have the ability of using one of the larger lithium ion batteries. So you can use the larger cap to accommodate that to give you a little bit more battery life. I've seen kind of conflicting stories on how long these last. We'll see. I don't know. But the NV400, the battery life was actually pretty good. So we do have a couple of different settings, and once we get back to the range, I will go over all those, and I'll try and record it so that way you guys can see it in real time. So you might be wondering, maybe one of the same things that I was wondering, like, how do you zero a scope like this? And it's done digitally. So you have to go into the menu, select shot 0, and then you're able to move your crosshairs. So this does include like 6 different crosshairs. Let's take a look at the manual here. You get a few different crosshairs that you can select in your menu. Anything from just a simple dot to a mill hashed reticle, and of course they're not in there, but they are on the outside of the box, so I'll show you that here. But if you look, which is, I mean, it's kind of a nice feature. So you have MRAD right there, MOA. You've got a boxed dot style reticle, simple crosshair, just an illuminated red dot, and then kind of like a half red dot crosshair there as well. So that's kind of cool. 4K recording. This will shoot in up to 120 frames per second in 4K. So the daylight video recording should be pretty nice, I would imagine. I'm really anxious to see what that's going to be like. The external LED emitter, or the IR emitter, it uses a lithium ion rechargeable as well. So let's take a look at that one there. Yep. So from Oneleaf, so one of the 18650s. But like I said, you can use one of these larger ones in here. You can use one of the 18650s to kind of increase your battery life. And all you have to do is just use the supplied turret cap or battery cap for that as well. So that's a nice little feature too. With this one here, you can, I believe, you can charge this one on the unit as well. I might be wrong. You may have to take this one out. Okay, this one does not have a port for external charging. So you would need to remove the battery out of this one, and you can use the supplied charger for that. Well, not a big deal, not a big deal. Let's take a look at some of the other features here. So if you look at, we'll just take a look at the manual here. So objective focusing pin, rail tube. So this right here is giving you there is a pinned interface that your rangefinder attaches to. So you need to make sure that is clean. You got your reset, micro SD, type C port, micro HDMI, and then here is your interface on this section right here. So it kind of gives you, this does have picture-in-picture mode. You got button backlit, record capture, LCD brightness. You've got, like I said, the different eye cups if you so choose to use one of those, diopter adjustment, and then your power button here is on the side. So push it in, hold it for a few seconds, the unit will turn on, and then likewise push it in, hold it for a few seconds, and then the unit will turn off. So that's not too bad. Let's see here. So this does have a 13 times digital zoom. And the one thing that I was not really sure on, and I haven't really seen any clarification since I've gotten this scope and kind of looked at it. But when you look at the box, they advertise 4 to 52 by 50. So I know that the objective's 50 millimeters, but there's no way that I have seen to give you 4 times to 52. I don't really understand what they're really getting at there, but because I don't know of any other way to adjust the magnification other than the digital zoom. So not really sure on that, but maybe we'll see what that means after we get to playing with it a little bit. And if you look here, so on the front, so if you were using this scope during the day and you wanted to record, you know, during just normal daylight, you would open this cover. And if you notice right here, it's got a, let me see, a threaded portion here. So this also acts as a sunshade. And then you have the ability of screwing this piece in like so. I know it's a wild looking sunshade, but that is the sunshade for this if you're wanting to use this during the daylight. But at least they include it, so that is a nice touch. Let's see what else here. So otherwise, I think the unit is pretty well self-explanatory. It doesn't look overly complicated, which is what I liked a lot about the other one. It was just, I mean, it's just really easy to use. You basically just set it and forget it kind of thing. This one does seem to have quite a bit of different features versus the NV400 setup. So, I mean, you would expect that. This one is a bit more. I think this one runs around the $600 level. So it is significantly more. Now, they have given us a coupon code. So if you type in The Hide, it will give you 10% off anything on their web store. So appreciate that from them. But overall, I'm interested to see how this thing is going to do. I do like the fact that they include all of the stuff that you need. So they give you the IR light, they give you an external charger, additional eyepieces, caps. So, I mean, that is nice. I do appreciate that. The proof is going to be where the shots are going to be placed at and how well the night vision works in this unit as compared to the cheaper model, the NV400. I suspect that this one is going to be a little bit better, but let's get this thing mounted. I'm going to put it on the SPR project and we'll take it back to the range and we'll get some daylight photos or some daylight footage, and we'll get some nighttime footage. And I also want to show you guys how you adjust the crosshairs, because that was one of the biggest questions that I had when I first seen this. Well, how in the world do you adjust your zero when you don't have actual scope turrets to turn? So again, I'm not fully versed in night vision, but for those of you guys that might be looking to get into it, be a good data point for you guys just to kind of see how that is done. But we're gonna get this mounted up and I'll meet you guys back at the hide. All right, so we got the unit mounted on our SPR here that we're gonna use for testing. So here is the IR light, the external IR light, mounted here on the top with the supplied Picatinny ring. Comes with the mount. It seems really solid, no issues there. It tightened up really well. We can adjust for far or near shooting, so it gives us the ability to kind of dial in the amount of IR we want or need, depending on if we're shooting further out or closer in. We have the on-off switch back here. And according to the manual, I think this is around, it has a range of around 420-ish yards, roughly. We got our batteries mounted back up. Here is the laser rangefinder module. It does work. It seems to work great. Here is the menu button. So we're going to go through all the daytime features. I'm going to get some video of that, and we're going to go through the menu and let you guys see how we actually zero this scope, which I kind of find a little bit interesting because, guys, I'm old school. I'm used to turning turrets to zero scopes, so that'll be kind of interesting. But the one thing that I do like about kind of this system as compared to the NV400 setup, where you just have a module that attaches to a regular rifle scope, is the eye relief for the scope itself. So with this being an all-inclusive unit, you can just set it and forget it. You don't have to worry about removing that external module off the back and then having a discrepancy with your eye relief from where you mounted the actual scope to where your eye placement would be after you put that NV module on. So I do like that. But here is our on-off switch. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this thing on, and we're going to go through some of those features, through the menu, and then we're going to go ahead and take some shots, and I'll let you guys see how we get this thing zeroed. All right, so we're back here during the daylight with our NV400 mounted on the rifle. Unfortunately, I was unable to get any video footage while the menu was up. That was kind of a bummer, so I can't really show what I had to do to zero the scope. However, once we get back to the review bench, I will go over manually how I did that and how you achieve actually zeroing this scope. So stay tuned for that. But here it is during the day, and to kind of go over some of the features that you get on the LCD screen, and some of them are kind of tough to see. They're on the left and on the right and the upper area of the LCD screen that you're looking at. So on the far left hand side, if you turn the main dial back here to where the ocular is, that is going to adjust your digital magnification, your digital zoom. So you got up to a 13 power. So what we're looking at right now is the 110-yard backstop, and here is going to be 2x, and if you look over there onto the left hand side, you'll see the X 2.0. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there's 10. And we'll go back here to the 210-yard backstop and get some footage of that. There's 11 power, 12, and then finally 13. So actually the digital zoom isn't too bad. The picture is still pretty clear. One thing I did see, that during the daytime you want to make sure that the sunshade is still on, which I do have it on, kind of cut out some of the light to make it a little easier to see. Also, they do recommend shooting only in 30 frames per second during the day. It's supposed to give you a little bit better video quality. Now the 120 frame per second option you can use for the night vision mode, but we'll have to see what that's all about. But nonetheless, it does look pretty clear. I'm pretty impressed with how clear the actual screen is. I will go over each of the individual, they call them widgets, on the home screen whenever we get back to the bench. But let's take a shot here and let's see if we can hit that steel at 110. And sure enough, go back to 210. Let's get some magnification here. Let's dial it up to, what's that, 8 power? We'll try 8, see what happens. Then you can adjust your parallax on the front of the scope to kind of clean that picture up a little bit. Right on the money. Oh, I'm out of ammo. But nonetheless, you can kind of see it. I mean, it is spot on. You just kind of point and shoot. Once I kind of got the idea or the hang of how to zero that reticle, it was golden. So let me get back and we'll wait for the sun to go down. I definitely want to get some video of this thing in night vision mode to see if we can make some hits, and then we'll get some final thoughts on the bench. We're back out here at night. We're set on 4K, 30 frames per second here. And we are looking at the 110-yard backstop in night vision mode. So if you look to the upper left portion of the screen here, I believe you can see that we are set on 7 power. And you can see the gong there we're pointed at. So I guess without further ado, we got to see if we can still hit some shots. So I can tell you, without this night vision, you absolutely cannot see anything past about your hand as far as the distance back here at the hide with all the trees and everything. So without this, it definitely could not be done, or not very easily anyway. So let's see if we can make some hits. 110, stand by. There we go. Right on the money. All right, not too bad, not too bad. You see the gong swinging there. So let's pan over here. Let's back our magnification off a little bit. Let's find our 210-yard line. Let's see if we can adjust our IR a little bit here to get us a better picture down range. So let's zoom in a little bit here. And we can see the gong there in the center. Let's see if we can hit some shots here. Money. Money. Dead on. All right. So, as you can see, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, whether or not it works is going to depend on whether or not you can actually hit targets. And it is completely pitch black dark out here. I can see my target, and I was able to engage with rounds. So let that kind of speak for what it is. But let's get this unit back out over to the bench and let's get some final thoughts. All right, so we made it back to the gun room. We're going to get some final thoughts on our Oneleaf NV400 Commander scope here. But as promised, I did want to go over how to actually zero this unit. Because if you've never done anything like this, and up until this point I haven't either, so I was a little kind of, I don't really understand how you zero one of these things when you don't have actual turrets that you can turn. But once I figured it out, it's actually not that bad. So initially is what you're going to do is you're going to want to get into the menu function. So if you look here on the top of this turret, it says menu. So just take this and hold it down in the down position for about 5 seconds. Whenever you do that, it's going to bring up these menu settings. So then this first menu portion here, scroll down to where it says shot 0. So go ahead and do that. And it will allow you to come up to this screen here. So this allows you to adjust your X and Y axis. So you're going to take a shot initially. You're going to see where that falls on paper. So that way you've got a 0 starting point. And the thing that I messed up the first time was you have to remember to keep this white crosshair on your original point of aim. So what you're doing is you're adjusting this X and Y axis. So your X axis is going to move it left and right. Your Y is vertically, so it's going to move it up and down. So you're going to move this red crosshair to where your bullet hole is, while keeping your white crosshair on your original point of aim. So you see it defaults to the X-axis first, and you can move that left and right. And you do that just by moving your dial, and then it will move it left and right. Once you get your crosshair over left and right to where your bullet impact is, while keeping that white crosshair on your original point of aim, just take and short press just one time, down and up, this right here, and then it will change it over to the Y-axis, and then you can move this crosshair up and down. Again, you're only looking to move the red, not the white. Leave the white on your original point of aim. Then once you have completed that action to where your red crosshair is over top of your bullet impact that you shot originally, you're going to want to save it, and I forgot to do that too. I didn't do that right. So to save you guys some heartache, that little camera button, so just take and double tap that, hit it once, wait a second, and then hit it again, and it will come up and say that that shot has been saved. And you can save different points of impact. You can save different reticles. So all of these settings are found in this little booklet. And I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with the little booklet. There's a lot of features that this scope has that I really didn't consider. A couple of them that I want to point out. So movie mode, that gives you the ability of changing your resolution. On the FFP, SFP, this scope, you can actually toggle between second focal and first focal plane capabilities. That's pretty cool. Another thing, if you're looking to make videos or record, like your hunts and things like that, you'll want to change this movie clip time, this one right here. It defaults to 2 minutes. So you can change it up to 10 minutes. So if you're wanting to take a lengthier video, you want to change that. If not, it's going to put it into individual files, or it's going to stop altogether. And then you think you're recording, but you're not. So just keep that in mind. Brightness capabilities, sound recording, stamps, contrast, brightness, you can change all that. Another one that I looked at, I'm still stuck in the 20th century. I had to change my unit to yards, but you can do that through the unit selection here. So I mean, there is a ton of different things that you can change on this. And one other thing I wanted to point out, I actually figured out where they're getting the 4 to 52 magnification. So if you go to this section here where it says magnification adjust, and that is in your original menu, you have the ability of changing the adjust magnification time. So this right here basically gives you 13 power just initially, but you can also bump that up inside the scope to get additional magnification. So I wasn't too clear on that, but that's how you do it. But I'm gonna be honest with you. The clarity that I seen over the 13 power, especially in the daylight, was exceptional. I was really surprised at how clear the daytime footage was. I really hope that comes through during the shooting portion of the review, but it was very well done. Another thing is going to be how to adjust or to use the rangefinder capability. So if you go back, and I didn't realize this either, but none of these widgets, as they call it, show up in the recorded video. So I do apologize for that. I did not know that until I pulled the data off of the SD card. But these are features that you see during the in the reticle in real time. They're just not recorded. But if you look up here where it says number 3, the rangefinder, so if you press this button down just one time while you're recording or while you're shooting, that little flag will come up, and that little flag tells you that it's ready to take a measurement. You hit it again, and then it will post up your yardage or meters right here. Now, if it didn't get a good reading, it's going to come up gray, and then you just push the button again and resend the beam, and it will reread. So, but it also has it's got a gyro, it's got a compass built into it. It lets you know the recording time, battery power, how much life or how much space is left on your SD card. That is pretty sweet. It does have picture-in-picture where it gives you a partial zoom on the upper portion of the screen. I didn't really use that. It was kind of cumbersome and a little confusing, but I rather just have the open screen. But you can put that in there as well. But I am really impressed with all the features. I honestly can't really believe that they include all the stuff that you can do in this for their price point. Now, granted, I do know that this one is a little bit more expensive than the NV400, but you're also getting more capabilities with a rangefinder. So, I mean, I can kind of understand it. Now, the difference, or the main difference that I seen between, let me go ahead and adjust the camera up so we can see the scope. In this here versus the cheaper unit, is definitely comes through when you're recording during the day, especially in the 4K, because I mean, it is ridiculously clear. The one thing that I noticed that probably was a little less to desire was the clarity at night. It really looked almost the same as the other unit. Make sure that you get this thing, your IR illuminator, dialed in, especially where it needs to go as far as mating up with the front ocular or the bell on the scope itself, to make sure that it's actually pointing the beam downrange. Once I did that, it did clean the picture up quite a bit. But I honestly think this right here is the limiting factor of this scope. If you had a better IR illuminator, I bet the picture in night would be exceptional, because everything else is good to go. If you notice here on front, this is the sunshade unit. So during the day, they recommend you using this sunshade to kind of cut down the amount of light. I did that and it worked great. Whenever you're looking to move to night mode, just move that off to the side and you're good to go. It lets extra light in so you get a clearer picture. But overall, I'm really happy with it. I think it's a very much a great option to get you into night vision, and it being a step up over their initial kind of their budget unit or their entry level unit, being as it's a standalone single piece of equipment that you can just mount to your rifle. You don't have to worry about adjusting and things like that. And the feature set is really what I think sets this apart from others. So you can get a lot more scope for the money from this, maybe from another company, but they don't have all the features. The range finding capability, that's definitely one of them. All the different reticles and everything else. They include, like I said, the SD card and everything from the factory. I really like the fact that they have a closed or capped unit. So whenever you want to access like your SD card or your charging port or your HDMI port, it's all sealed. So you can have this thing out in the field, and if it were to start raining or drizzling on you, you're not going to have to worry about moisture getting into this. I think that is a great feature. Other scopes do not have this. They have a little kind of like bikini cover type thing on the side here that moisture can absolutely get into. So I think that's a great selling feature for this unit as well. There's a lot of adjustability, a lot of capability with this. I would be interested to see what this thing would look like with a higher quality IR unit. I believe the night picture or the night mode would be even better. It's definitely adequate. The name of the game with night vision is to be able to hit targets at night. And as you've seen in the shooting footage, I was able to, in fact, hit targets at night. So, I mean, you know, kind of take that with a grain of salt. I'll leave the ultimate determination up to you guys in the comments. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say and what you all think on this unit. But if you have any questions other than what I've covered in this video, please post them up below. Always glad to interact with you guys. Hit me up over on the Facebook page, and be sure to check out the campsite. So there is a coupon code for Oneleaf, save you a little bit of money on their website. So if you want to cruise on over there, if you'd like to try one of these or maybe the NV400, definitely check that out, and don't forget to use that code to save you a few bucks. I get no other kickbacks, so that's just for you guys to save a little bit of money if you want to try out one of their products. But please like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate all the support. Definitely can't do it without you. And as always, shoot straight. Later.